All right. We're about to get into it. Welcome to Shine with Kendell Lenice. We're about to get right into it. Season 11 is all about relationships. We're talking about romantic relationships because, as we know, there are plenty relationships out there. You have relationships with your family members, your friendships, co-workers, whether they're healthy or not, they are relationships because why? We're in relation with these folks, right? But season 11 of Shine with Kendell Lenice is focusing on romantic relationships. And if you're just tuning into Shine with Kendell Lenice for the very first time, welcome. Again, this is season 11. I cannot believe that. And I asked you guys, what should we focus on in season 11? And you said relationships. Relationships are the hot topic, the hot button. My guest, before I introduce him, my guest and I talk about relationships often. We go on Instagram Live. We talk about it. We talk about it before our shows. We talk about it through Facebook and text and all of that. So I said, I have to have my brother on for this season of Shine with Kendell Lenice. Now, he's been on everything I've had, every platform he's been on it. But I would like to call him an expert in relationships. And one thing about my brother, he doesn't mince his opinion. He stands on what he believes and he stands firm in his opinion. And that's why I love and respect him so much. Our guest today on Shine with Kendell Lenice is Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. Woo, woo,
What's up,
Leroy.
lady? What's going on with you?
Hey. I said, Leroy, we got to talk to the people. We got to talk to the people about these here relationships
Yeah.
because Leroy and I often talk about the high value and the foolishness and the trickery that's out here in relationships. Welcome to Shine, Leroy.
Thanks, lady. Thanks for having me on here. I'm appreciative of everything that you do, and you are just such a. I appreciate you. I'll put it that way because you don't have to do any of this. You know what I'm saying? Have me on talking about the different issues and things that we talk about, but you do. You truly are someone that thinks of me. You think about me when it comes to you talking about things or addressing certain issues and stuff like that. So I'm gonna say it publicly, and I tell you all the time, but I do appreciate you so much for this.
Oh, thank you. And I appreciate you and I value your opinion. And I know you are a straight shooter and you have value. So does that mean you're a high value man because you have value?
Well, according to some folks, no, I'm not a high value man. So
What does it let's talk about that. So what does money, does stature, does height, like we often talk about, does having a certain amount in your bank account, like what does that mean? Let's before in this show we're talking about the red flags in dating and relationships. That's the focus of this episode of Shine with Kendell Lenice. So y'all go get your popcorn, go get your grapes, go get your juice boxes, go get your sodas, your soda pops, get everything, nestle in and get comfortable. Welcome in and tell a friend definitely about this episode because we're going to be talking about red flags, but we're going to round it out talking about some green flags too and possibly some yellow ones. But Leroy, this talk of high value men, and you said you probably wouldn't be considered a high value man. Let's talk about that. What is that and why wouldn't you be considered high value by
well,
whoever?
I think it depends on who you talk to be honest with you, because I think people have their their definition of what they believe is a high value man. I don't like the term personally. I think it's a I think people misuse the term. I think they just want to use it to be a part of the culture that uses it
Mm,
now.
mm,
And then it was used, from what I've heard, it was used before, um uh I don't even know if I want to say his name, but you know who I'm talking about, used the
Mhm.
term before he came
KS.
up with it. It was, yeah, it was used before him, but he kind of, I won't say popularized it, and took it and gave it its own meaning. It was supposed to be, from what I think he said, it was a dude that made six figures. He was he was in a certain um group of people. He was around a certain influential people. He was someone who had certain influence with people.
Mhm.
And I can't remember all of the things that he listed. It was about maybe five or six things that he kind of gave as a definition of what he defined as a high
Mhm.
value man.
Mhm.
But when I think of high value, here's what I think of. And it's in the word. And I've said it before. It's in the word, and I'll start with the ones that are outside of the word. These three things are in that I believe are high value: character, integrity, and honor. Those are the first three.
I
The
agree.
second three are that are in the word man. Someone who's mature, someone who's accountable, and someone who's natural or nurturing. That's it
Mm.
for me. That's
I
high
can
value
agree
for
with
me.
you. As a woman, I can agree with you that that's a high
Hmm.
value man. And
Yeah.
six figures are nice because bills are real, money is real, right? But you can't snuggle up to six figures. Some would beg to differ, but I would rather see, and it's not an either or, but if it had to be, I would rather have somebody with great character, a great personality, a moral standing, someone who, strongly, their faith is strong and believing in God. Like those kind of things are high value to me. A sense
Hmm.
of humor, somebody who cares for me, someone who shows me care and value and love,
Correct.
that's high value to me. But in
Yeah.
society standards, it's the money. And you often talk about, how I want you to talk about what you always talk about as far as a man providing for a woman.
Hmm.
Because I think
Hmm.
that is straightforward, but some would say it's controversial. Some would say, man, he's just saying that because he ain't got six figures. There's going to be people with two sides of saying that. But you always say that when a woman wants a man to protect and provide, what does that mean when you hear that? And why do you think it's misconstrued?
Well, I think it's misconstrued because they only talk about those two terms, protect and
Mhm.
provide. You never hear them
Mhm.
talk about the third P, which I say, which is to produce. And this is just my take, my belief system that I have is God commands of us, men and women, to protect, provide, and produce. That's what he told Adam and Eve. You are to protect, provide, and produce. And when you hear today, people have the conversation, they're just cookie cutters. They're repeating what they hear. And
Mhm.
all you hear them talk about when they talk about protect and provider in terms of financial, they don't talk about any other aspect. And let's just talk about the men. Yes, it is our responsibility to protect and provide. But what does that mean? What does that look like? Protecting, providing looks like
Mhm.
this. Not only financial, which is an aspect of it, but
Mhm.
okay, I can have all the money in the world and provide for you and maybe even protect you to a certain extent. You
Maybe,
know,
what you mean?
when I say maybe, when I say protect you, and I don't want to go here as far as names and stuff like that. But the
Hey,
current
you always keep it
no
real. Let's keep it real.
the current nominee for the Republican Party of the
Mhm.
United States that's running for president,
Mhm.
he fits that criteria. He provides and he can protect his wife,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
There's nothing that there's no one that will be able to get to her or anything like that because he can
Mhm.
protect and provide. If that's like because he has the financial means to be able to do it
Right.
and he has the wherewithal to be able to do it. So
Right.
he's a protector and provider, but does that mean that he's a good man? Absolutely not.
Right.
And the truth be
Yeah.
told, you can have someone that has the financial aspect of it, but it's like, does he protect her emotionally?
Yeah.
Does he
Come
protect her
on.
psychologically?
Come
Does
on.
he protect her even from, and he may do this, and I don't know, but
You're talking right.
a even from a health standpoint,
You're talking
does
right.
he does he, if something were to happen to him, you know, I'm not saying anything happened to him, but if something were to happen to him, and let's take him off the table. I want to just put the average guy on the table, or the
Mm-hmm.
ones that say make six figures.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to ask those guys that are watching this right now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they want to call themselves protectors and providers, I would ask them this question, Kendell.
I love the
You say
fact that
you're
you said they want to call themselves that. I
yeah,
caught that.
because these are the terms that they want to use. Okay, you're a protector and provider. Do you have a life insurance policy for your wife? I'm gonna say your girlfriend. Do you have a life insurance policy for your wife? Do you have a life insurance policy for your kids? Are your kids tuition for school graduation for school for college paid for? So if you telling me that you're a protector provider, you didn't provide for the you're not providing for their education. You're not
Mm,
providing for their
mm,
the circumstance if something happens to you
mm,
and you don't have a
mhm,
life insurance policy,
mhm.
so that your money, whatever it is that you have to be able to that you've left behind to them, doesn't wind up having to be taken from them. We've named, you and I have named before, the number of celebrities, entertainers that have left here without life insurance policies. And the families have been fighting over it.
Mhm,
The one example that I'll use, Chadwick Boseman's
mhm,
wife
mhm,
had to fight
mhm.
to get the money that was left for her for him.
And he passed with
And
colon
the
cancer. Mhm,
yeah, and the the attorneys
mhm,
and the probate court got like over half of that money.
mhm,
And can you imagine? This is a man who had means.
mhm,
He could protect, he could provide, but his wife had to fight
mhm.
in order to be able to be protected. He didn't protect her. I love Chadwick Boseman.
Woo,
Loved it. Loved that brother.
woo.
But he didn't protect nor provide for his wife in that instance.
Mm,
So
mm,
these dudes that talk about they protectors and providers, unless you got a life insurance policy, unless you going to the doctors on the regular, don't come to me with that. And that third piece, like I said, because they always want to talk about it from a financial aspect of it. And that one, and then the other
mhm,
one as far as
mhm.
producing. Remember, I said the third one is producing. What are you producing? Are you producing a healthy relationship? You got a lot of
Come
dudes
on.
out
You
here
speaking my
that you
language.
got
You speaking my language.
you you got
Talking.
a
You
lot of
talking
dudes
right.
out here. You got a lot of dudes out here that want to say, well, they want to limit their wives to what? Being cooking their food, washing their dirty drawers, taking care of the kids, and cleaning the house. That's it.
Well, they
Now,
might as well get they might as well get Florence from the Jeffersons if that's all they need.
pretty much,
They
right.
don't
But to
need.
hear them tell it, but that's the language that they're speaking today, Kendall.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
they're saying is a woman. That's the woman's role, and they're not understanding where that stems from. That's our what great grandmother, great grandfathers. That was their position that they had then, and they were only in that position because the women weren't allowed to work,
And the
or
thing
the
with
only
me
work.
and some women, Like, I don't mind doing those things, but I don't want to be
Right,
forced to do those things. And I don't want that to be my only purpose in a relationship. I don't mind cooking
right,
for my man, right? Or serving him or whatever else that is that
right.
people say is old fashioned. But that can't be my only role because I do have a brain, because I do have ideas, I do have thoughts. But some, like you said, and it's the younger guys from what we're seeing are resorting back to that. Not the older guys. It's the 20 and 30-year olds are saying that. I was
Yeah,
speaking
but
to a young girl who was 21 years old, and she
mhm.
said, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go older. She said, these dudes out here, she said, my father took care of everything. She said, my father told me that no young woman should be paying the rent or the mortgage. We could pay all the other bills, but if we're living together, he's supposed to make sure that we're secure in the household. And she said, and she was going on and on because her father had taught her some things. And she said, these young boys out here, they're not even on that type of time. She said they want women to just totally take care of them. That's what she said. And then she's 21. She just turned 21. And she said they want us to take care of them even at this age and stage. She said the idea of, a man providing, the idea of a man looking out for a woman in that kind of way, she said she thinks those days are over if she's dating in her age
Well,
bracket.
and that's the sad part. And here's the thing, Kendall. Those young adults, because that's what they are, the young
Mhm.
adult age. And between 40 and 20.
Mhm.
That's young adult age. And the
Mhm.
unfortunate part, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, whose children are they?
Mm. Mm.
That's what I'll ask. That's what I'll ask. Whose
Mm.
children are they? And what
Mm.
example are
Mm.
they pulling? Are they pulling that
Mm.
knowledge from?
Mm. Mm.
So who's dropped the ball? Is it them for dropping the ball because they don't know?
Mm.
They're just entering into the stage of learning what this adulthood thing is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
They still trying to figure it out.
Mm.
And many of us that are in our 40s, 50s, 60s, we fail to remember when we were in our 20s,
Mm.
when we were in our 30s,
Mm.
and what that looked like. Because I hear the conversations that the young folks in the 20s and 30s that they have, and we had those same conversations. I know me and my buddies, we had these conversations all the time. I always remember my buddy Craig, and we called him Moose. And in college, we had the conversations about all these young ladies want is the dude that got the car. He got to have this kind of job. He got to look like this. If he ain't light skinned it and look like Albie Shore, they don't
Or
they don't
Christopher
want you.
Lee.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Christopher Williams. I think they twins. I swear they
Ah,
twins. I swear them
they
two are
are
twins.
brothers. They
But
brothers.
you know. but but we had those conversations. I think the
Mhm.
difference between then and now is they have we didn't have the internet back then.
Yeah.
So those conversations were between us. We would actually physically be talking to each other. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
sitting in the room talking to each other, having the
Mhm.
conversation, as
Mhm.
opposed to now, these conversations are done kind of on a wider scale.
Mhm.
They're done on a broader scale. And Will Smith said this too. He said the difference between things happening back then and things happening now is you actually get to see them. You have access to seeing them. That's the difference. Because things were
Yeah.
still happening. We just
Yeah.
have more access than we
Yeah.
did back then. So
Yeah.
that's the difference. But those conversations that they're having, and the mindset that the younger generation has, they had to get it from somewhere. So
Yeah.
where are they getting it from? And
Yeah.
and so what you were saying about the young lady, I was watching one of the TikTok videos, and it's a dude that comes on, and he has this is I don't know if it's a skit or not, but he has young kids, and they're about the young lady's age, 20 or so, in their 20s or whatever. So he has these things where they're asking him different things, right? And it's about relationship stuff. And
Mhm.
so he took his daughter out to dinner one night. They're out having dinner at a restaurant, And so he always has food. That's his thing. He always has food. He always eating something. And so um, his daughter was asking him about about men. And he tells her the thing that you just said, the young lady told you. Well, my daddy said, and he's telling his daughter, you
Mm-hmm.
should never have to pay for anything going out when you go
Mm-hmm.
out. A man is supposed to pay for everything. He's supposed to take care of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I say to that. One, I said, and we wind up having the young ladies, and this is what fellas will do. They want to complain about young ladies out here having an entitlement mentality. So don't tell me on one hand that you say that the man is supposed to pay for everything, but then
Mm-hmm.
when a woman has an expectation of you to pay for everything, then you say, "Oh, well, she's just a golden. She's entitled. You know, she
Mm,
feels like she's entitled. You can't have
mm,
it both ways." That,
mm,
and that's why I'm always people talk about the 50-50 thing, and I don't want to get into all of that. But I've never
mhm,
believed that that a man is supposed to do everything because
mhm,
his pay for everything. It's just that's not the way that God intended it. If
mhm,
God meant for man to do everything, he wouldn't have created woman. You all would not be right here right now.
mm, mm.
God himself said it is not good
For
for
man.
man to be alone.
Mhm.
And he says that because he gave Adam this whole big world, put him in it, and said, I need you to take care of it. And
I
so
totally
he's
agree. There's a place, I mean, men and women contribute to a healthy relationship. And I think
absolutely,
the two people
yeah,
in the
absolutely,
relationship can decide what the contribution is from this one or that one. And
correct,
contribution is not all
right,
about just money. Contribution is how
right,
can we be better together in this relationship? How can your strengths work here, my strengths work here, and we come together to have a healthy relationship? Because I'm big and I've had unhealthy relationships and I no
mhm,
longer live there. I focus on healthy relationships, right? Healthy
absolutely,
romantic relationships, because I think if you have the wrong match, you could be as a woman, I could be given unhealthy and he could be given unhealthy. So it's not just like one person is like the man is just unhealthy and the woman is health. Both people are contributing to an unhealthy relationship. So that is a red flag, and we're going to talk about that. Like, if both people are contributing to an unhealthy relationship, then I think those people need to part from that relationship because it's not a good match. It's
yep.
not a good match. And I think just like Gladys Knight's song, neither one of us wants to be the first to say goodbye. That's a lot of people in
What you
relationships.
know about that? What you
Man,
know about Miss
yeah,
Gladys Knight?
neither one of us wants to be the first to
You're too
say
young to know about Miss
goodbye.
Gladys Knight.
Come on now. That's my auntie. That's my Gemini auntie. But I think so people live in these unhealthy spaces, these unhealthy relationships, because sometimes if they're used to having unhealthy relationships or they've witnessed unhealthy relationships, they don't even know that they're unhealthy. So that
Yep.
is a red flag. If you're yelling at each other, if you're calling names at each other, or you're not verbally speaking to each other, communicating well, or if any of that those are unhealthy things, right? If you can't even talk without arguing, if you can't even talk without disagreeing, if you mad, he mad, she mad, they mad, it's like that is signs of an unhealthy relationship. That's a red flag, because my cousin was saying yesterday, she was like, relationships are not hard. They should not be hard. And
Correct.
I already told God, I said, listen here, I want an easy relationship. I want something that's easy and simple and effortless. That doesn't mean that it's not going to take work and you're not going to have to work together and come together, but complicated, that foolery that that folks are doing in relationships, mm-mm, that's a red flag. Can you think of another red flag when it comes to relationships? Because we're talking about red flags, yellow flags. We're going to get into the green flags because people don't give the green flags enough credit. Green flags are the
Yeah,
healthy signs
they
you see
don't.
in people in relationships. People want to focus on the red flags. And yes, we're going to talk about them. But, towards the end, we are going to talk about healthy relationships, green flags. Y'all don't be talking about those often, but we're going to have this thing rounded because just like the red flags, there's some beautiful people out there who are giving green flags into a relationship. Like, keep going, keep going, keep going.
All day long.
All aboard. So,
All day. But see, but I think that's what society does
mhm,
anyway, though, Kendall. I think they focus on society focuses all on all on negative things. Notice everything that's in the news is always about something
mhm,
negative. You'll
mhm,
rarely, and I remember telling my best friend years ago. She used to be like, "You need to watch the news. You need to know what's going on." I said, "No, I don't." I said, "I can tell you what the
mhm.
first five stories of every news show is."
Bad, bad, bad,
Right,
bad, negative, bad, negative,
right.
bad.
In an hour long news show, you'll get a 5 minute segment. Now I'm gonna say that again, y'all. A 5 minute
Mhm,
segment on
mhm.
something positive.
Right. At the
That's it.
end, at the tail end with
Right
the
at
credits
the at
rolling.
the at the tail end of the show,
Mhm,
they'll give you that.
mhm. Facts.
That is a microcosm of our society today.
Yes.
Take a if y'all don't believe me, take a look at the internet. Take a look
Yeah.
at YouTube. Take up any of the shows that talk about relationships. How much time are the topics negative topics? Absolutely. You'll rarely see positive topics that talk about
Yep.
the you know what we should have did, Kendall? We should have named this the green flags of relationships.
That's what I said I wanted to.
I
Remember you
know,
said leave it red
I know.
flag. I
Yeah,
said it. I
yeah,
said it.
yeah.
Look, I'm about to
And that's
change
that's
it
my
again.
bad.
That's what I said. I said we
Yeah,
should name it green flags because everybody's talking about the red flags. And
red
not
flags
all relationships are um red
are
flags.
full of red flags.
So that's why I said, okay, green flags it is. That's what we're talking about because I think
Yeah.
it's not talked about enough.
Well, no,
So
I think
everybody,
we still need to. I think we
we
still
are,
need to talk about the red flags. You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
we are.
Because that's real. That's
Yeah,
real. Because like that young lady you talked about, the 21-year-old,
yeah,
that those are the ones that we should be
yeah,
pouring into them. So I'm gonna hit it
yeah.
again.
So,
We
but
we should be
some red.
pouring into them.
Right. So if you're just tuning in, Shine with Kendell Lenice, to all my audio listeners, my writers who've been here since day one, listening to Shine on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. I see y'all. I am on YouTube Live. So if you want to see the visual version, you can do that on my YouTube channel. But my people from all across the globe, and yes, I say globe, I have international listeners and all throughout the US. So I
What?
wanted to say, hey, y'all. Hey, thank you for supporting Shine with Kendell Lenice. If you're able to rate the podcast and leave a message, please do so. You can also send some shout outs and some love to kendellenice@gmail.com. So I don't want to ignore my audio listeners because they have been rolling with me this season. I said I was going to do more of the visual part, but the audio version, sometimes it's just me and them in my pajamas and my headscarf, and we doing Shine with Fidelity. So
You
we
and your
be at
bonnet on.
home.
You be
Yeah,
on the doing the podcast in your bonnet.
sure do. I'll be right there because it's audio. Nobody can see me. Sometimes I be in my studio, my little studio area, and sometimes I be in my closet. What you talking about? The acoustics are amazing in
That's
there.
good stuff.
Right. So I wanted to give a shout out to you all and thank you so much. If you're just tuning in to Shine for the very first time, welcome in and tell a friend. Hopefully, this is not your last time. And if this is your first time, go back and catch up. Again, this is 11 seasons. So it's something in this podcast and on some of the episodes for you. All right, Leroy. So what about a dude or a woman woman who has no friends. That's a red flag.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. If you don't, and we ain't just talking, I'm talking, you should have, and some people, I don't know how you feel about this. Some people, they like, well, nah, they can't have no male friends if it's a female. And if it's a male, she can't have no male friends. What she need male friends for? What he need female
Mm-mm,
friends for? I
mm-mm.
wish somebody
That's
would tell
what
me.
what if they tell me, oh, you can't be Leroy's friend no more.
Absolutely.
Come on.
And,
And what
and,
would
and
I look like telling him, oh, you can't have no friend? You had these friends that been with you through the trenches and they happen to be female. So what you saying? Come on now.
right.
I had a relationship like that and I lost a great male friend. We're still friends, but the bond that we had,
With the
and
head.
I
Yeah.
remember he was like, and I felt so bad because I had to tell him, he was like, but it's me. Like he literally said that to me, almost broke my heart. He was like, but
Yep.
it's me. And we still have a
Yep.
good friendship, but it's something
It's
broke.
not. It's not the
It
same.
broke.
Yeah. Yeah.
It broke. And look,
Yeah.
that he ain't even here. And my friend is still around. And you know what I
And see,
mean?
that's
And
the
it's
thing. That's
mm-hmm,
that's and see, that's the thing
mm-hmm,
that people don't think. If it doesn't work out, then you think you're gonna all of a sudden go back to that friend
mm-hmm,
that was there
mm-hmm,
for you, or that you known for a long time, and
mm-hmm,
try to make it like it was. No, that's not how that
mm-hmm,
happens. My best friend to this day, she and
mm-hmm.
I've been
Talk
friends
about it.
since college.
Mm-hmm.
We've been friends since college. I'm talking down for whatever. She know where all the bodies buried. She
Mm,
know everything.
mm, mm,
Get somebody say, I'm gonna call your
mm.
mama on you.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
But and she's in a relationship. And of
Yeah.
course, the dynamics of the relationship had to shift because she's in a
Yeah.
relationship.
They got
But
to
both
shift
of us
because you got to
yeah,
still be respectful to your mate. You
right,
still got to be respectful to your
exactly.
mate.
Right. And that's what I understood. Hey, and I gawked about it in the beginning, and everything like that. Cause I'm like, what you mean? And she would do the same thing. When I was involved with somebody, she was the same way. I'm like, nah, don't be feeling that. You want to get, you think I'm supposed to, nah, you supposed to, no. You can handle boundaries and everything, but I can't. No, no. But
Yeah.
but we love each other. We love each other. I know this for sure. If I'm stranded at 2 o'clock in the morning
Come on.
and I need somebody to call
Come on.
that's going to get up out of their bed, no questions asked, and come get me,
Come on.
it's
Come
her.
see about you. They're going to come see about you. Make sure you're
She
good.
going to make, all right,
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I'm on my way.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Boom.
her husband
That's
might be with her husband might be with her, but
right.
she's still gonna come.
Right, but she would respect him, be like, hey, Leroy's in some trouble because he knows me, I know him and everything like that. She'd be like, yeah, he's stranded. I'm gonna go grab him, and he
Yeah,
might even come with her.
that's why I
He
said
might even
because he
come.
might not want his woman out
Yeah,
at 2 o'clock in the morning, so they
right.
both gonna come
So
rescue. But that's
right,
family. That's family.
yeah. So somebody that tells you that you can't have any opposite sex friends, that's a sign of security,
Hmm.
insecurity. That is
Or if
definitely a
somebody
red
don't have
flag.
no friends. Like I met men, and I
Right,
was like,
right,
"You ain't got no friends." Like
right.
to me,
No,
because like my friends, I've had my friends 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, 10 years. And it says it's something to be said that you can maintain, even if you
yep,
can't maintain a romantic relationship, right? But you
right,
can remain and retain friendships. That
yep.
says a lot about you, about your character, about who you are, about loyalty, about how people respond to you.
Mm,
You can't have like I met people and I was like, you ain't got no, I don't deal with dudes like, but you ain't got no friend like since the seventh grade, no friend since your first job at the phone company, whatever. Like you ain't got no friend.
no
Like, you know what
friend,
I mean?
nobody
You
that you
ain't got
can.
no neighbor when you was 3 and they lived next door, like nothing.
And
That's
here,
crazy to me.
that's a
Red
sad thing, and because yesterday I had to go to a funeral, right? One of my business associates, he's a client too.
I'm sorry.
His name is Pastor Steve Turner, passed away, and I went to his funeral yesterday,
Mm,
and and I'm thinking to myself, about me, and I'm like, when that day comes, because that day is coming.
Mm,
I've always said that the day is coming where you're sitting on the front row or you're in the casket.
mm,
That's where we're all headed.
mm,
In this thing, we've got to understand that.
mm,
But the point of the matter is, one, on the other side, who do I have to go through this with?
mm,
Who can I talk to about my feelings,
mm,
about losing someone?
mm.
And if I don't have that kind of dude or that kind of female friend, then I'd be like, yeah, this really bugged me out. Or someone that kind of, yeah, I'm here for you if you need to talk about it. You good. Are you
Yeah,
okay?
my
You know,
cousin.
and even last week when the bridge collapsed, right? I had people text me,
This
you
one of my
good?
cousin, this cousin right here that I put on here. Shout out to Nakia.
Uh,
She called me frantic at 5 o'clock in the morning.
yeah,
Frantic, looking for you. It, like to be loved and to be cared for.
right,
Whether your family is your friend, whether your friend is your
right,
family, like you got to have somebody that you're connected to. And when you meet people that don't have, they don't talk to they don't have no family or no friend that they're connected with at all. Like
right,
I'm blessed to have great, a great support system and
right.
friends. But some people don't. And the fellas the
Yeah.
same way. If you meet a woman and she ain't got no
Who
friends,
friends? And the thing
that's a
is,
red flag.
some you'll hear some women
It's
say, "Well, I
hard
don't."
for them to connect with people.
Yeah, and you'll hear some women say, "Well, I don't like dealing with other women because they too catty."
Mhm.
Dudes
Mhm.
say, "Well, I don't really hang with dudes like that."
Mhm.
I don't really have. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
The guys that I got like one or two, and ain't nobody saying you got to have a whole flock
Mm-mm.
of people that you hanging around with,
No,
but there should be a
you
couple
ain't
of people in
you
your
ain't got to
life.
have a
Yeah,
posse like the 80s. You ain't got to have a
yeah,
posse.
yeah. You ain't got to have an entourage. You ain't got to be rolling with 12 deep, 24 deep, MC Hammer deep. No. You know what I'm saying? But you should at least have one or two close friends.
Right.
And I'll put it like this, y'all. Even Jesus had 12 disciples, but there was only three that was like tight like that with him. And he took those three, and that was it Peter, James, and John. Took them up with him on the mountain when he did the transfiguration. He only took those three. He didn't take all 12. Who's your three?
Mm.
Who are
Mm.
those three people in
Mm.
your life that, without a shadow of a doubt, you can share the most intimate part of you with them? And if
Mm.
that dude that you potentially want to get in a relationship, or that woman that you potentially want to get into a relationship, can't tell you she got a three, it's a red flag, and you
Mm.
need to run.
And also, I'm with you. Lack of less because I'm looking. We're not even
Mhm.
talking about gaslighting and love bombing. That's emotional abuse. That's a red flag. Gaslighting is when a person says or does things to make you question your own reality and your own sanity. Like you can see something happen, and they're like, "Well, you going
That-
that's not what you saw, or you didn't do that." Like if I say, Leroy, um can you take the chicken out the freezer? You know how your mama used to say, can you take the chicken out the freezer? And then you go to them and be like, I took the chicken out the freezer. I'd be like, I ain't say that. You all right? Something wrong with you? But it's in a loving way. That's gaslighting, emotional abuse. Trust me,
is it okay?
I've been there. It's gaslighting, and it they might lie and tell you you're forgetful or you're overreacting, or are you okay, when they say something and they try to act like they didn't. That's emotional abuse.
Mm,
That's gaslighting or love bombing. And people who are narcissists do that. Like they do all of these things in the beginning to get you to make you
hmm
feel like
right.
you can trust them, and doing different things like that. And then all of a sudden, the whammy comes in. So that's a lot of emotional abuse. You hear women and men talking about it. A lot of
Mhm.
women on social media talking about it, because we're talking about what people are talking about it in dating. We're talking about the red flags. We're talking about the real on dating and relationships, as well as the green flags. And also, let's talk about this, Leroy, a lack of emotional intimacy. One of the best parts of being romantic, this research says, is connecting deeply and authentically with another person. For some, emotional intimacy is challenging, but it should be always the goal. A partner who shows no interest in opening up and bonding is not ready for a relationship. And that's from verywellmind.com. The lack of emotional intimacy. You cannot get to know someone and be involved in a healthy, solid relationship without being emotionally involved. And that
Well,
emotional intimacy is way before sexual intimacy.
let me
Let's
ask
talk
you this,
about it.
Kendall, because you the life coach, and this is one of the things that I've noticed in nowadays, and when you hear these conversations about people talking about relationships, and they're talking about getting into another relationship, and
Mhm,
showing that intimacy aspect of it.
mhm.
Have you found, or do you notice that people today aren't equipped they've been hurt so much
That's a good
that
point.
they find themselves putting this barrier up
100%.
to, so that they don't show it, because they already feel as if, okay, if I let
Mhm,
my defenses down, this person is going to treat me like the
mhm,
last person, or the last
mhm.
person, and the last person
Yep.
has treated. Have you found that to be the case, and why you get both men and women, because men and women do that, where they don't show that
Facts.
intimacy part, or they're afraid to show that intimacy part or emotional part of it, for the fear of being vulnerable and being taken advantage
100%. 100%. And that's when you know somebody is not ready for the next relationship. If they're
of?
taking out
Okay.
whatever they've been through and haven't had periods of time, you need time to
Mm,
heal. You can't jump
yeah.
from one relationship to the next one. You have to have a period of time.
Yeah.
Even with me, like a couple of years, like you got to have a period of time. Like you can't just jump out the fire into the fire pan. You got to really do work on yourself. You got to get to know you. You have to heal some of the things. You have to see what went wrong in a relationship, even though it could be somebody else's fault. You always have to take some accountability, even if it's choices that you've made, even if it's things that you needed to grow on or whatever it is. You have to take that time. And if you meet
Mm,
somebody who says that they the super perfect one and the other person was just the word, you got to run. That's another red flag. If somebody is constantly, people have to
but
take
see,
responsibility for their own selves. And I'm not saying people don't do serious stuff to you where you can blame, 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 but the
right.
way that you heal is through your part. You can't be focusing on nobody else's part but yours. And you got to take a beat to just heal from that. Then once you enter into a correct relationship, a right relationship, or a healthy relationship, or if it's heading that direction, then you will be in a better place not to hold the old baggage over a new person's head, and you'll be able to
Yeah.
open up and have, be vulnerable, whether it's ant slow or whether it's turtle slow or you're creeping through, you'll be open. But if you go from the frying pan to the fire, that's just going to be the same person with a different face.
Yeah.
She gonna have
Yeah.
different hair if she a woman. He gonna have a bald head or not, or some locks or something, but it's gonna be the same person.
And
So,
see, I
but you
think,
can't, it's a red flag if somebody says, no, I'm not going to be open emotion. I'm not emotionally available. That's a red flag. What you doing? You don't need to be dating them because they're not ready yet. And there's nothing
and
wrong with
and he,
not ready.
here's the thing, y'all. When somebody shows you or tells you that they're not emotionally
Come
available,
on, talk it.
and you want someone that is emotionally available
Talk it.
or emotionally intelligent, and this young lady, her name is Kitty Rose. I don't know if you've seen her
Mhm.
on YouTube and TikTok.
Mhm.
She's phenomenal.
Mhm.
But she said this very thing one
Mhm.
time. She's like, you say you want someone that's emotionally intelligent, but do you know what that means?
Mhm.
And are you ready for someone that's
Mhm.
emotionally intelligent?
Mhm.
Someone that
Mhm.
is emotionally
Mhm.
available? Because if you say you
Mhm.
want someone that's emotionally available
Mhm.
and they show
Mhm.
themselves to be emotionally available, and then
Mhm.
you want to take advantage of them, you want to call them soft, or you want to
Mhm.
say, well, he's too open. She's too
Mhm.
this or she's too that.
Mhm.
But this is what you say you wanted.
Mhm.
So you can't have it both ways.
Mhm.
If that's what you say you want and someone shows you
Mhm.
that they're not being that, then you need to
Mhm.
acknowledge that red flag and be like, you know what? I
Mhm.
see that you're not emotionally available.
There you
And
go.
and I or and I think that since I see that, then that I see that this relationship isn't going to turn out the way in which I believe that it would turn out. That's
Right.
that's best for me. It's going to
Right.
be conducive to me. That's just like when you hear somebody say someone
Right.
when they talk about what's your intent when you want to get in a relationship. Are you marriage minded, or are you just, hey, we just gonna go with the flow and just dating? Ask that question, because you should know where the relationship is possibly heading. And we ain't saying you
Boy,
got to be get
you
ma-
had
we ain't saying you
you
we
no,
ain't saying
I'm
you
gonna let
got to
you
get
finish.
married.
Leroy, that's why we here. I'm gonna let you finish, but you heading into green flags. That's a perfect segue for the
Right.
first thing I'm gonna say with a
Okay.
green flag. But go ahead, continue. Because you right on track.
No, but when you say that, know the things that you want. And if this person says, hey, my intention with you with this relationship
Mm-hmm.
is to eventually, yes, I eventually want to get married,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm not looking to get married. That's
Mm-hmm.
cool. Ain't
It
nothing wrong
is.
with it.
You
Ain't
just had
nobody
to tap
saying you,
into it.
but be upfront with it. Be honest about it. Be transparent about it, because that was one of the red flags, is not being transparent. But the flip side of that, the green flag to that, is someone that is transparent with you,
Mm-hmm.
because the person that's transparent with you and open with you, you know where they stand. Either way,
Mm-hmm. Either way.
that you know what you know. Either way, you can
Mm-hmm.
decide.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is not where I'm trying to go to,
Mm-hmm.
and I see this is not where you're trying to go to. So
Mm-hmm.
why even waste? I've always said this. Why waste each other's time? I don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste my time. Hey, let's just say it is what it is, and be gone.
Yep.
But you gotta be. Most people, Kendall, don't want to be that open. Don't want to be that transparent. And I'm sorry,
No,
fellas.
because
It's
they
it,
want to
it's
hold on.
They want to, right. They want to play the game, because they want to sleep with the woman because they find her attractive, or whatever. But the goal is to sleep with her, not necessarily to get involved in a relationship with her. So
And that's
yeah,
coming
if they're
from a
going,
man. That's coming from a man, not a male. That's coming from a man.
absolutely.
You
And
hear
and
him.
and that's
That's the
that's the, and
game.
that's the difference between a male and a man. A man doesn't have a problem with being transparent.
Come on.
A male does,
Come on.
because
Talk
he's
it.
playing a game.
Talk it.
He's playing a game. So yeah, ladies, and guys, they're questions that you should be asking, and
Come
it'll
on.
tell you everything that you need to know. Don't just ask the questions. Watch for the answers, because they can tell you anything.
Woo! Wait. Hold the press. Stop the bus. This is why I have my brother on here. He don't play no games. He tells it like it is. You said ask the question, but what now?
But watch for the answers. Meaning, it's not what they tell you; it's what they show you. It's what, because I can tell you anything.
Come
I
on.
can tell you that I want to get married.
You
I can
talking
tell you,
right.
yeah, I'm looking to get in a relationship, get towards work towards marriage. But every single thing that I'm showing you is saying I don't want to be. I'm not trying to get married.
You talking right. You talking right.
What are you watching for?
You talking right.
And,
You,
and
you
we got to be honest about those answers that we see, y'all.
talking.
Yeah. And we got to be, and we got to be honest about those answers that we see, y'all. And we got to be honest about those answers that we see, y'all. And we got to be honest about those answers that we see, y'all. And we got to be honest about those answers that we see, y'all. We can't put the blinders on and not see things. Yeah, it might be cute because he cute. It might be cute because you think she's fine. Yeah.
Woo!
But then when you get into the relationship and those things start to show up consistently, then it's
Come
well
on,
she always no, bro. You knew she
come
was
on,
crazy from the jump when
up,
you saw her.
up,
You knew he was a narcissist from the
up,
beginning, and but you chose to ignore it because
up,
he was 6 feet tall,
up,
he had a six-figure income,
up.
and he had the other six. But
You,
I ain't gonna go
woo!
there with
You
that
stepping, woo,
one.
woo! You stepping on toes. Hello, is this mic on? Hello, hello. Can you hear? He said six, six, and six. That sounds like the devil to me. I
And-
don't know.
and- Kendall, I've always said that. People talk about that 666. I'm like, those are devil's numbers. Those of us that are in the church
He
that are
said,
Christians, we know what the
he
six
said
six six means.
six
That
feet
ain't never been a
tall.
good thing. That
He
ain't
said
never been a
six
good thing.
figures, and he said 6 inches. That's what Leroy said. He the man. He said it. He said it. That's what y'all looking for. I mean, do these women out here got a ruler? I'm just saying. I don't know. What in the world? Lord T Day. All right. We got 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left of the podcast. And we're gonna flow into what Leroy was talking about. On this list, there's 12 green flags, and this is
Mm.
from Grin Doctor. I love that. Number one goes right into what Leroy is saying. He is clear about his feelings. So, ladies, listen up. He is clear about his feeling. Ambiguity is the enemy of romance. Being ambiguous, you don't know which way is up. When he is into you, he won't just drop hints, he'll spell it out in neon lights. Transparent communication is the cornerstone of lasting relationships. When your partner can articulate his feelings, needs, and expectations, it's like having a relationship GPS that always knows the destination. Woo! It's not just a
Can I
sign
can I
of
add to that?
emotional intelligence. Wait a minute. It's a declaration that you're in a relationship built to endure. Go for it, Leroy. Woo! A
I
relationship
just want
GPS.
I just wanna add to that when it comes to clarity. He should have, and I'm saying this is for y'all too, women.
Mhm.
You should have clarity as well. Brothers, if she ain't clear on her path and her purpose and the things that she want to do, you need to
Come
run from
on.
her as well.
Come
But
on.
there should be clarity,
Come
not
on.
only what they want in a relationship, but clarity in their life, period. They should have
Mhm.
clarity in where they are and
Mhm.
where they're trying to get you. And you said the perfect thing,
Mhm.
they should have a GPS system for their life.
Yep.
Yeah, people say, well, you can't marry potential, and
No,
and,
he's
and to me
saying
that's
a
a lie.
GPS. He's saying when a man
No, I
is
get it.
saying when they articulate their feelings,
Yeah,
he is clear about his feelings. That's good.
yeah, yeah. But you should be clear about your feelings. You should be clear about your life path. You should be clear about what it is that you want in your personal and professional life.
Yeah.
What do you want when you talk about that clarity in your personal life? There, yes, they should be able to articulate to you what they want in a relationship. They should be able to clarify for you
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
they're looking for in a mate. We
Mhm.
just said it at the beginning. What do
Mhm.
you want in someone?
Mhm.
What is it that you're looking for? If they can't, well, you, if they can't give you something of substance
Mhm.
that they looking for, like we said at the beginning. I want here's my seven, Kendall, and my buddy Donald Morton helped me to clarify this so clearly. I have what's called my personal value system. And
can we
here's
do
what
that
I've
towards
looked.
can we do that towards the end so we can finish this list? We don't
Oh
got much
yeah,
time. And then
yeah,
so let
yeah.
me
No,
just
go
run
ahead.
through
Yep,
this list real quick and then you can end with that for sure.
yeah,
So this is part of the
yep.
12. The first is he's clear about his feelings. Second is he validates your feelings. Ever feel like you're shouting into a void? A partner who validates your feeling is like an emotional sounding board. He doesn't just hear you, he listens and affirms your emotions. That could go for men and women. Number three, he respects your boundaries. We're going to say they respect your boundaries. Boundaries are
Hmm.
load bearing beams in the emotional architecture of relationships. When a partner respects your limits, he's saying, I value your emotional well being as much as my own. I love that because
Hmm.
emotional safety is like my love. I have to feel
That's
emotionally
the
safe.
protect.
If I feel
That's the
emotionally safe,
protecting part.
yeah, that's huge for me. If I don't feel emotionally safe, you're not going to get the best version of Kendell. You're not, because I
Hmm.
have to feel that. Number four,
Yep.
he makes time for you. In a world where everyone is juggling a million things, making time for is a deliberate act of love. When he clears his schedule to be with you, he's planting a flag on the peak of the priority mountain. It's a clear sign that you're more than an option, you're the first choice. I love that. Number five, a green flag is you're sexually compatible. Sexual compatibility is the alchemy that turns a good relationship into a great one. It's not just fireworks, but it's emotionally safety. And I didn't even
Yep.
see this. There's mutual respect and shared fantasies. Number six, he pays attention to the little things. The devil is in the details, and so is love. Whether it's remembering your favorite book or the way that you like your coffee, these micro moments are like love notes scribbled into the margins, of your daily life. You know, we're writers. I like that. It's
Yep.
scribbled
Yep.
in the margins of your daily life. It's his way of saying, I see you and I care.
Hmm.
That's
Yep.
powerful. Number seven, you share the same values. We don't have to go into that. Number
Hmm.
eight, he sees you in his future plans. When he talks about the future, you're a part of it. If that's not just romantic, it's a green flag. It shows that he's vested in the present and planning for the future where both of you can grow and build a life together. After all, you can't build a relationship if you're stuck in the past. Number nine,
Yep.
you can have difficult conversations. That's a good one. That's a green flag. Life isn't a highlight reel, it's a mix of ups and downs. When you navigate the lows together without the relationship taking a hit, that's a green flag. Number 10, he inspires you to be your best self. Inspiration flows like a river. When you have a muse in a human form, it doesn't need to push or prod. His very presence makes you want to ascend greater heights professionally and personally. So true. He celebrates your success. Jealousy is a catchy bitch. It says so. Make sure you find a man who genuinely, and this goes for women, for men too. You find these in the woman as well. Genuinely celebrate your triumphs. Number 12. This is huge for me, a green flag. He's consistent. I can say he because it'll be he for me. Leroy will be she's consistent. In the dating landscape, haunted by ghosting and mixed signals, consistency is crucial. When your partner says he'll call, he does or she does. When he makes plans, he keeps them. It's a way of saying you can count on me. Those are green flags. Powerful. All right, Leroy, you got the floor to end with your seven. First, what do you think about that list? I think that's a phenomenal list.
Yeah, it's an absolute phenomenal list. And here's the thing, Kendall, that list goes for men and women,
Yeah, that's
and
what I
that's
was
the thing.
saying.
And I,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I tell people we as men and women are more alike than we're different.
Mm-hmm.
We really are. At
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, we want the same things, but we may want it in different ways. I've always said that. I've always
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
You know, we want the same things. We just want it in different ways. And me and my but real quick, I know you got to go. Me and my buddy had this conversation the other day, but we talk about. He says that men want respect, women want love. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm
I
like,
just
no.
I was on Leroy. Go to my Instagram. My highlight. I have it pinned. When I was on Fox
Do you?
Soul,
Okay.
I mentioned this exact same thing. I know you about to
Did
feel
you?
exactly what I feel. Go ahead. What you gonna say? 'Cause that's
Well, he
woo,
said, but I'm like, no, and I'm like, no, dude, we want both.
I said
Men and
that.
women,
I said
men
that.
and women want both. You
Yes.
can't tell me that we can't. You can't tell me. And he's like, well, no.
Yes.
When you look at it, when men want respect more than they want love. I'm like, who are you talking to?
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
no, we are more alike than different. There's not one woman that does not want respect. There's not one man that does not want to be loved. You can't tell me that. I refuse to believe that. So I'm like, no, we're more alike than we are different. We may want it
Yep.
in different ways, but we all want the same things. We're more
100%.
alike than we are different as human beings. So that
I
that was
agree.
that.
I agree
But
a
I
hundred
had
percent.
this. I had this. I had to come up with this list because I go through and work with this Remain project, the company that I work for. But the coach Donald Morton, he took me through this exercise, and it's a development how you develop your personal value system. And he gave you different words. You had to use which ones that you liked. And I had like a list of like 100 and some odd words, and I had to narrow it down to seven
Mm,
seven core things
mhm.
that I value.
That's so hard.
Here's my seven: wisdom, vision, uniqueness, commitment, consistency, excellence, and accountability. Those are the things. Those are the core of who I am and what I
Mm,
expect from myself.
mm.
I make wise decisions. I have a vision. I'm unique. I'm committed. I'm consistent. I walk in excellence and I have accountability. I hold myself accountable.
Come on
Those are the
now.
things that I have, but those are also the things that I look for. I don't want a
Mm.
stupid. I don't want a stupid woman, so I need somebody that has some wisdom. I need somebody that got a little bit of wisdom with her. Yeah, I don't need you not
You
educated.
said
So those
wisdom
dudes,
with her. He said he needs somebody with wisdom with her.
I don't, so those dude, ladies, if you hear a dude say that he wants a woman that her education and her money don't matter, run. Because he's telling you he wants you stupid. I'm sorry. He wants you stupid and no skills. I'm sorry. That's just, I need somebody who has vision. You got to have a vision just like I do. I want to know you want to go somewhere too. And that you're not just tied to what it is that I want to do. You're not the remember
Whenever you like,
Vanessa Bell
whichever
Calloway.
you like.
Right. Whatever you, what is it that you want to jump up like a dog on one foot, on one leg? No. So you know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
I need somebody that's unique, somebody that knows that she's not like everybody else. She doesn't care. She ain't worried about what everybody else think about her because she's confident in who she is. She's committed. She's committed to anything that she does, whether it's the relationship, whether it's her family, whether it's her friends. She's committed to it. She's
Mm,
consistent with it too.
mm,
She ain't just saying I'm committed. She's
mm,
consistent with showing her commitment.
mm.
She operates with excellence because hey, she's not average. She ain't trying to just do, hey, I'm just gonna do what I need to do in order to be able to get by.
Mm.
And this one going, hey, y'all don't scream at Kendall. Don't be sending her DMs or anything like this for the last one. And this is the ladies. Accountability. I know it's hard. I know the A word is hard. I know it's
Yep.
hard for y'all to hear that
No,
word. It's the
it
A
ain't.
word.
No, that's
For a
big.
lot, not you. It's a lot of women out here, Kendall, that don't want to hold themselves accountable for nothing.
Yeah,
Trust
I'm
and
into it,
believe.
so I tell you.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
feel
So, but somebody who is not afraid to say, you know what, I messed up. That was on me. That was my
yes.
fault.
Ain't that
That was
sex?
my fault.
That's like sexy. It
Yeah,
really is. It's like
yeah,
very attractive.
yeah, yeah. I didn't get it right. I'm sorry. Let
That's
me
so attractive.
yeah. So those are my personal. That's my personal value system and what I guide my choices and decisions by. If it doesn't fit in any of those seven boxes, I'm sorry, man.
That's Leroy, do you know how powerful that is? Did you memorize all 7?
Yeah.
That's
Yes. I
powerful.
write them. I write them every single day.
Wow. Run them off real quick again before we end.
Yeah.
Run them off.
Wisdom, vision, uniqueness, commitment, consistency, excellence, and accountability.
So if they don't meet the if so what if they got what if they're excellent, consistent, and they're wise? Can they have
Well,
3
I'm
out
gonna
of
have
those?
to. I'm gonna yeah. I'm gonna have to do some thinking because I know we're not perfect, and I'm not. And here's the thing, Kendall, about the 7. You don't have to be all perfect at all of them all the time. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? It's
Mhm.
just I know that that is a character trait that she has.
That's good.
That is a
That's
character
good.
that should be a character
I like
trait
it.
that he has.
I
You
like
you
it.
should be able to say that about them. Yeah,
I like it.
he might not make the wise decision. She might not make the wise decision all the time, but I know she's a wise. She did it with the intent of having a good intention behind it.
I
So
like
she's not gonna make decisions that are just be like, "Oh, yeah, okay." Because even I'll be like, yeah, what was I thinking? What in the
right.
world was it? I even
Right.
wrote a poem. I even wrote a poem about that Kendall called "What Was I Thinking." I got a poem that I wrote called "What Was I Thinking?" Because I screwed up. I told
Go
you.
ahead. Let's end with the poem. You got the poem? Let's end with the
No,
poem. You
I don't
got
have it
it?
in front of me. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know it by
So
heart,
we
but it
gotta
was
have you
called "What
come
Was I
back
Thinking?"
with the poem.
Yeah, it's called "What Was I Thinking?" Yep.
Just imagine the words. When you were in a space, let's dim the lights. When you were in a space and time and you made decisions that did not fare well, and you
Yep.
looked back and said, what was I thinking?
What was I thinking? What
We
was
all
I
have
thinking?
been, if you've been there, raise your hand high and raise them to the sky and wave them like you just don't care. What was I thinking? I think everybody can
Yep.
relate to that. Everybody got a what was
Yeah.
I thinking time or 2 or 3.
Yep.
So I
Absolutely. We
totally get
all
it.
do. Yeah,
All right,
we
well,
all do.
Leroy,
We
so
all do.
as we in Shine with Kendall Lenice, the audio version will be available on all streaming platforms tomorrow, but the visual is available right now on YouTube. But if you are on your treadmill, if you're out for a walk, if you're in your car, you can put the audio on, put on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts, and you can share it with your friends because you might not even want to look at us. You might want to do, you got things to do. You driving, right? We don't want you to be looking at the YouTube. I know you got the little holder and you can look at the YouTube while you're driving. We want it just to come through the speakers. So definitely check out the audio version as well. It will be up in 24 hours. But Leroy, as my guest, you have the final say. But I usually ask afterwards so you can say what you think the real is about dating and relationships, if you can surmise that, and then tell us what brings you joy. Because I believe that you have to find the joy within yourself before you go into any relationship, and you can't be looking for somebody else to put the joy in your heart. You got to already have it. So, what is the real to you about dating and relationships, and what brings you joy?
Yeah, the real about relationships in this day and time is to be real. You got to be, and it goes to what the second part of what you were saying, to what brings you joy. You got to be joyful in here because that's
Mm-hmm.
nobody else's responsibility but yours.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Woo.
Because you can't expect joy. You can't expect the real from someone else if you're not being real to
Mhm.
yourself.
Mhm.
First person you got to be real with is you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Be real with you, and then that will give you the ability to be real with someone else.
Yep.
And 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 what happens when you're real, that you can be no one is allowed to steal your joy because they don't give it to you, they can't take it away because it's inside of you.
That's right.
So that comes from within. Everything that we do The mistakes everything that we do, we've got to deal with it from the inside out. The
Facts.
exterior stuff is a reflection of what's inside of us.
Facts.
So
Well, you heard it from Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. Now y'all see. Now y'all see why I wanted to have him on here to talk about relationships in this 11th season of Shine with Kendell Lenice, as our focus is relationships. We've had people this season sharing their stories, their ups and downs, their highs and lows in their relationships. We talked about it all, and we still, I believe, in this season have about 2 episodes left. So if you haven't listened to any of the relationship stories, please do. There's some great ones, and people are vulnerable and emotionally vulnerable, telling their stories and their truths about relationships. It's even one episode where they did the lady did a heart scan on me, and she did it
mm.
live on the air, and it's powerful. Like, is anything blocking me from love? It was deep. I was almost in tears. So that's still available. You got to check that out. And so much more. But Leroy, thank you so much for being on Shine with Kendell Lenice, talking about our favorite subject.
I know, right? Thanks for having me, Kay. I appreciate you. Love you, lady.
Yeah,
Love
love
you to
you back.
pieces.
Hi, Dr.
This
Leroy
was good.
McKenzie Jr., everybody. This is Shine with Kendell Lenice. God bless y'all. Peace. And the audio, you're going to get a little extra in the audio version of the podcast. So you're going to get much more than you see here on the visual. So don't forget to check out the audio version of Shine with Kendell Lenice. You're going to get a little bit more bang for your buck. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to Shine with Kendell Lenice. Bye, Leroy.
Later.
God bless y'all. Peace.
Hmm.